Recognized as the first Spaniard to ever claim the 500cc Motorcycle World Championship, Alex Criville has always put his best foot forward. One rival that always stood out in his career was Mick Doohan. The first time they met, Alex had no idea that Mick would be his good friend and greatest rival. It took a couple of seasons before he found out. While riding for Repsol Honda and fighting for the championship as colleagues, Alex admitted that the 5 years he spent with Mick helped him achieve more. And while their relationship started well initially, it didn't stay like that for long. During one of his interviews, Alex admitted that he did not owe him anything, nor did Mick owe him anything. They weren't having the best of times, and they both had their fair share of accidents. But Mick was a rival, just as he was a teammate. Their relationship and rivalry spanned throughout Alex's career. From their first race together, it seemed like Mick was constantly looming around Criville, as he was always present in most of the races Alex participated in. Mick was a challenge that Alex had no choice but to face, and the battle went on for several years, with both of them never wanting to give an inch. How tough could the battle have been? Let's take a look. Born in Catalonia, Alex started racing in 1985 when he was 14, after falsifying his age to 15, because that was the minimum age required to participate in the race. He raced in the 75cc National Series, Criterium Solo Moto, and won. His international career kicked off in 1987 with the Derby team, when he raced in the Dutch and Portuguese rounds, finishing the championship in 11th place with 12 points. His performance improved in 1988 when he took second place in the championship after gaining 90 points. He moved to Team JJ Cobas in 1989 and scored back-to-back victories in Australia and Spain, with his first podium in Spain. He had another victory in Germany and 2 consecutive second places in France and Great Britain, making him come out at the top of the championship with 166 points. He rose to the 250cc class in 1990 with Giacomo's team, but his performance dropped with his best performance for the season in Hungary, where he came out in 5th place and concluded the championship in 11th place with 76 points. He returned to Team JJ Cobas in 1991, and the season began poorly as he only managed to gain points in his 3rd round in the United States in 8th place. He continuously retired from races, with his best performance a 5th place at the Czechoslovak Grand Prix. He took 13th place in the championship with 51 points, while Helmut Bradl, the runner-up, beat him with a huge difference of 169 points. His time in the 250cc class ended with 9 DNFs, the highest he ever had in his career, and not once did he end up on the podium or take any victories in those 2 years. Alex was finally in the 500cc class in 1992 with a new Pons racing team for the year's season. He took his first podium in his 3rd race in the class at the Malaysian Grand Prix, behind Wayne Rainey and Mick Doohan. Wayne did not know then, but Mick would be his greatest challenger. Alex won the Dutch GP 500cc race soon after, making him the first Spaniard to have ever completed such a feat. At the end of the championship, he was in 8th place with 59 points, while Mick Doohan beat him with a difference of 77 points. Alex continued with the Pons racing team in 1993. He retired from a few races, got a 3rd place podium finish, and concluded the season in 8th place with 117 points. Alex joined the factory Honda team in 1994 and finally rode with Mick as a teammate. He was also the first Spanish rider to make it to the team. The season started well as Alex gained points, but Mick was ahead of the game, as he'd won twice and already had a 2nd place finish. Alex got his first podium for the season in Austria, another in the Netherlands, then a final at the French GP, and ended the championship in 6th place with 144 points. But Mick Doohan was still way ahead of him, with a difference of 173 points. In 1995, he continued with the factory team, kicking off the season with consecutive podium wins in 3rd places in Australia and Malaysia. He retired from the Japan race while Mick took 2nd place, but Alex took the 3rd podium in Spain. He was 5th in Italy while Doohan took 1st place. Then Alex took his first ever pole position in the 500cc class in the Netherlands. An intense battle between Doohan, Alberto Puig, and Alex ensued the next day. He managed to overtake Puig to 2nd place, but he could not overtake Doohan and lost to him with a difference of 0.114 seconds. Doohan took the Buenos Aires title, while Alex took the season's last race in Europe. The championship closed with Alex in 4th place with 166 points, while Doohan beat him again with a difference of 82 points. After a good performance in the previous years, there were a lot of expectations for Alex for 1996. He retired from the Malaysia opening round while Doohan won the race, but he took his season's first pole position at the Japanese round. He retired again in Spain after taking Doohan out of the lead. Alex pulled a gap after battling Luca Cadalor, whose tyres were failing. He stayed in the lead most of the race, but Doohan was getting closer and closer in the final laps. During the last lap, some spectators thought the race was over and invaded the track at turn 9, distracting Alex and giving Doohan a chance to get back on Alex's tail, as they did the last few corners. Doohan was going side by side with Alex. They didn't touch, but while trying to accelerate, Alex lost the rear and was thrown out of contention in the last corner, while Doohan won. Alex lost to Doohan again until he got struck by luck at the Austria race, where Doohan was in the lead and made a small mistake, and Alex overtook him at turn 10 and took victory with 0.5 seconds. Alex won the race in the Czech Republic that same way. They rode side by side to the finish line, and it was unclear who'd won until the scoreboard showed that he'd taken Doohan down with only 0.002 seconds, a record that stands to date. In the battle, Alex lost more times than not to Doohan. During a race in Australia, as Alex was trying to overtake Doohan, they collided and fell, and Doohan later blamed him for the incident. Alex finished the championship in second place behind Mick Doohan with a difference of 64 points. In 1997, Alex kicked off the season by losing to Doohan. In the third round in Spain, he won his first race with Doohan behind him. He crashed during practice before the second round in the Netherlands and missed several races at Imola, Rio de Janeiro and the British rounds, which were all won by Doohan. Alex had his last win for the season in Australia by 2.268 seconds after Doohan crashed out of the race. He completed in the championship in 4th place with 172 points, still behind Mick Doohan, who was in 1st place with a difference of 168 points. As much as he had lost the title in 1997, he stayed with Team Repsol Honda for 1998. He won in Spain, continued his excellent form and was in 3rd place at the Italian Grand Prix. He was on the podium again in Germany and was 2nd place twice in the Czech Republic and Imola City. He scored the fastest lap in Brno and was 2nd behind Doohan at Imola. He claimed his first and only pole position for the season at Catalunya during round 12, then crashed and retired for the rest of the race. He was in 3rd place at the Australian round, but then exited again in the last round in Argentina. He completed the season in 3rd place with 198 points. Doohan was still ahead of him by 62 points after taking the championship title. No one thought Alex would win the 1999 title, especially after Doohan won the previous year. Doohan crashed at the Spanish Grand Prix during the qualifying session and broke his leg in several places, including his wrist and collarbone. Alex had 6 victories during the season and won his first and only 500cc World Championship with 267 points, with Kenny Roberts and his teammate Tadayuki Okada falling behind. The fans had high expectations for Alex to take the title in 2000 after he did the previous year, but the new NSR 500 machine he was riding was not up to the task, as Alex struggled all through the season. He was in 5th place in South Africa and then scored his last career victory in France. He was involved in an accident and missed 2 races. Then he returned during a race in the Netherlands and took 2nd place behind Alex Barros with a difference of 2.077 seconds. He concluded the championship in 9th place with 122 points, 136 points behind 1st place Kenny Roberts Jr. In 2001, he changed his number to 28 from 1 after losing to Kenny Jr. It was supposed to be his last year with Team Repsol Honda, but his contract had been extended by a year in August 2000. He had his first podium in the Spanish race in 3rd place, then finished in the points in Italy and Catalunya. He was in 8th place at the end of the season with 120 points, as Valentino Rossi took the championship with 90 more points. Alex announced that he had left the Repsol Honda team in December 2001 after spending 10 years with them and was weighing his options for 2002. He was, however, unable to race in 2002 because of health complications that made him lose consciousness from time to time. Specialists had advised him to take some time to rest and take the necessary tests. In May 2002, he announced that he was retiring from the sport because of his illness. He has, however, been around the MotoGP paddock several times after his retirement and during special events for Team Repsol alongside Mick Doohan.